Part 268. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2671. Fang Fan's gaze subconsciously shifted in other directions. This idea, this thinking, does seem to have exploded. In all aspects, can't we hold on? He still wants to live a life like this paradise at every turn. What kind of trouble is he trying to do? Why don't you hold on a little bit? Fang Fan didn't speak, just remained silent on the spot. Xiao Liulai was immediately unhappy. Why do not you speak? Are you unwilling? Don't you want me to give you a baby? Do you dislike me? You just despise me. That's what you dog men are like. You don't recognize anything when you put on your pants. While Xiao Liulai was talking, some tears flowed silently from the depths of her eye sockets. Fang Fan let out a breath. This wave was really thundered, and at this moment he felt his head buzzing for no reason. He really didn't expect what this was going to look like. This? How is this going to go? Stop talking nonsense. After you're optimistic, go back. We've been away from that morgue for too long, just in case something happens. Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, then shook his head, ready to pull in other directions now. Little Liulai's big eyes were still flickering, and she didn't know what was going on in her heart. All in all, the thoughts in her heart seemed very unique. Fang Fan moved his mind slightly, ready to return with Xiao Liulai and Lu Jiyi. At this moment, in the morgue, the corpses of those fraudulent corpses were gradually being killed, but it stopped a lot. In fact, this is a small trick. These corpses are indeed corpses, and there is no such thing as a dead body. The reason why the corpses were suddenly cheated was that someone pasted some parasitic talismans on these corpses in advance. When these parasitic talismans are suddenly activated, it will indeed make these corpses bounce around for a while after death. But the energy in the parasitic talisman is very limited, so it didn't take long before it gradually disappeared. In general, it's probably like this. I'm so exhausted that I'm an envoy of God. Wipe. These ghosts can really torment people. What are these mentors thinking in their hearts? My brain must be flooded. Is it disgusting to do this thing? What ability do we train? The ability of disgusting people. Which turtle son came up with this idea? Don't let this envoy know, or I will beat you to death in minutes. Bai Biao then made roaring sounds, and while talking, the gesture of gnashing his teeth was vividly displayed. Needless to say about other things for the time being, this gesture is gradually showing its sincerity. This feeling is virtually followed by a full-scale explosion. Bai Biao has always said something, this guy really has never been afraid of anyone. This is the old man's training plan. How? Do you want to kill the old man? Just as Bai Biao was yelling, he suddenly heard a humming sound in his ear. Bai Biao really didn't care at first, but after listening to it, his eyes widened. This voice is so familiar. Looking back, he saw Tai Shujia standing beside him with a dark face. At this moment, Tai Shujia didn't speak, just staring at Bai Biao. Bai Biao opened his mouth, and the black lines on his forehead involuntarily increased. Who the hell knew it would be like this? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2672. I don't know where it came from, and what kind of trouble is it going to do? Bai Biao supported his forehead, forcing a smile on his face. Master, Master. Why are you here? Look, why don't you tell me when you come, so I can pick you up? Then what, you arranged this training plan yourself? No wonder. No wonder it looks so unique and charming. Master, I won't say anything superfluous. Your plan has improved the courage and combat effectiveness of our students in an all-round and three-dimensional way. It can be significantly improved in all aspects. This training plan seems to be quite simple, but it is impossible for non-great wisdom to come up with such a perfect training plan. Master, I really admire this wave. It's so awesome, hang and beat everyone who refuses to accept it. Master, I really admire you, you are too strong. Master, your brain is really easy to use, hey, why don't I have such a good brain? Master, can you teach me why you are so powerful? Master. Bai Piao has always been a staunch supporter of the shameless policy. Needless to say about other things for the time being, this gesture is very real. While talking, he quickly nodded and bowed. This has directly broken the defense. Boo boo boo, just this expression is very pure. What is the face? Want to be able to eat and drink? If you can exchange your shamelessness for a better life, why not do it? This is the principle that Bai Piao has always practiced. In general, this is what I have always thought in my heart. Grand Uncle G originally really had a lot of anger and wanted to vent it on Bai Piao, but now that he heard him like this, those anger seemed to suddenly subside a lot. This guy is just such a shameless person, wouldn't it make him feel uncomfortable to argue with him? Snort. I'll clean you up next time. Let me ask you, where is Fang Fan? Why did not I see? Where is he? Call him out. Uncle G winked at Bai Piao crazily, meaning that Bai Piao should quickly summon Fang Fan back. He is still betting with Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy. If Fang Fan really wandered out from the morgue, then according to the bet, he would also take the blame and resign. At that time, he won't be able to intervene in the matter of the first grade seed class. Boy Fang Fan. For it. This. Bai Piao opened his mouth, and the corners of his mouth twitched subconsciously. How does this make him? He searched for so long in the morgue but still couldn't find Fang Fan and the two women beside him. According to the preliminary judgment, Fang Fan should have taken the two women to Shushan Pavilion Small World. Having been with Fang Fan for so long, Bai Piao naturally knew about the existence of Shushan Pavilion Small World. Just now, what was Fang Fan and those two women doing in the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and then this kind of thing happened here. My brain is buzzing imperceptibly. Seeing Bai Piao speechless, Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy at the side, suddenly followed her eyes. It was exactly as she predicted. This time, she is going to win. Finally going to win once? Since dealing with Taishiji, this is the first victory in a confrontation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2673. Thinking of this, Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, became extremely flushed. This excitement is difficult to express in words. How excited? Anyway, I'm so excited. Take off is pending. The beautiful feeling made him feel obsessed. She'll be up in no time. After being suppressed for too long, she was about to go crazy. Now I can finally catch my breath. Thinking of this, Fu Jing's whole body trembled. The victory this time was really hard won. Uncle G, don't make a fuss. Admit defeat. Just admit it. That precious apprentice of yours just slipped away during training. Accept your fate. Did you take the initiative to resign from the Deputy Palace Master, or should I submit the resignation letter for you? What you said in front of so many people before, you will not fail to implement it. Anyway, he is also the tutor of the academy, so it's not like he doesn't even have this responsibility. Fu Jing, vice president of the Priest Academy, gradually drifted away. While talking, The arrogance on his face was beyond words, and even the sound of breathing became rapid. This thought gradually became crazy. He. My own apprentice, I know it myself. It's not your turn to point fingers. Isn't the training time over yet? Taishiji's face darkened, and then he took a deep breath. Taishiji's gaze flickered around the surroundings, but he just glanced over, and there was really nothing. Is it possible that I really want to surrender to this woman this time? Damn. Taishiji took a deep breath, and the black lines on his forehead flickered rapidly. My brain hurts so much right now. His great uncle G is not weaker than others in his life. Lose. There is no such word in his dictionary. Even in front of a strong demigod, he still has a surging fighting spirit to compete with the god of heaven. Where did this kid go? I'm pretty sure no one walked out of the morgue. I used to come to this morgue often. There is only one exit here, and all other exits are blocked. I have been standing at the exit. If that kid comes out, I will definitely be able to see it. But nothing was found from the beginning to the end. There is a problem here. Taishuja was talking, and then let out a foul breath. He doesn't want to suffer from Fujing's birdishness. This blah blah, I don't know how much nonsense there is. It's so irritating. You can be directly pissed off in minutes. Uncle G, I really don't know what you are still talking about. Is it so difficult to admit that you have been wrong? Hey, this is the disciple you taught. Speaking of which, my villain Lu Ji also started to break the rules after switching to your sect, and now she even dares to slip away from such an important training. Look at the disciple I personally trained, there is absolutely no way he will be like this. Everyone saw the performance of stepping on the snow just now. He was neither humble nor overbearing. He fought healthily and powerfully with those corpses that cheated him. He also advanced and retreated. He was extremely strategic. Fujing, vice president of the Priest Academy, was talking, and the arrogant look on her face became more and more. While talking, he nodded quickly and said, the excitement on his face was beyond words. He was exalting himself and belittling Taishuja in both words and deeds. Uncle G took a deep breath. Why did he want to punch him so hard? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2674. Seeing Fujing, the vice principal of the Priest Academy, pretending to be aloof, Grand Uncle G couldn't help but get angry. This is too irritating. Just finished gasping. His great Uncle G has never suffered such anger. Taishiji's eyeballs followed, thinking silently in his heart, all kinds of feelings invisibly increased. Fujing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, looked more and more arrogant. It's hard to describe the arrogant appearance of Zinzei in words, it's just drifting to the end. No. Nothing at all. Ha ha ha. Grand Uncle G, don't bother. Don't think about anything else. Admit defeat. Why? Although this result is very difficult to accept, but I advise you, you should accept it or accept it. Just say that you don't accept it at this time, so what? In the end, don't you still bring yourself to humiliate yourself? Uncle G, you are good at everything, but you are too proud. Tisk tisk tisk, it's a good thing to have arrogance, but it's not good if arrogance is too hard. Uncle G. Ha ha ha, ah ha 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 ha. Fujing, vice president of the Priest Academy, then laughed excitedly. In the words, the excitement on his face was beyond words, and he wished he could roar directly at this moment, and all kinds of thoughts exploded in his mind. She's about to take off. She has already thought about what she should do next. After Grand Uncle G gets out of the first grade seed class, she will be the only class teacher, and Fang Fan will definitely be the first person to be punished at that time. And Lu Ji, the little bitch, actually defected. She must be made to pay the price. These are all planned. Fu Jing licked her lips, the excited smile on her face could no longer be concealed. She laughed wildly. Gradually, 3 figures appeared before her eyes. Those figures looked so familiar. The smile on the face of Fu Jing, vice president of the Priest Academy, suddenly froze. She opened her mouth, and the corners of her mouth twitched unnaturally. At this moment, her eyes flickered with infinite bewilderment. She saw several familiar figures. Fang Fan, Lu Jiyi, and that girl named Li Yulai. 3 people, one more than one, all came back. How so? Fu Jing, vice president of the Priest Academy, was stunned. Taking a deep breath at this moment, the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching, his facial expression was unpredictable. Fang Fan and the others seemed to have suddenly appeared in front of her eyes, without any warning from the beginning to the end. How so? Appear out of thin air. This is impossible. Where did you fool around from? Did you escape during the training just now? Just ran back. Is it this way? It must be so. Say. Ji, you won't lie? Tell me clearly. Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, seemed a little arrogant. While talking at the moment, she rushed towards Fang Fan's position eagerly. While talking, his face was also very ugly. With a cloudy face, his complexion is distorted. Don't need to say much about the rest, just this posture is very real. This is clearly to take advantage of the opportunity to talk. Fang Fan looked a little confused at the moment. Before he could react, Bai Biao had already strode forward with a sly look on his face. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2675. Deputy President Fu Jing, what's the point of explaining this clearly? Fang Fan and his 2 partners just fell asleep in a room in the mortuary. There's nothing to be surprised about. As for the corpses that were fraudulent just now, they may be more difficult for us to deal with, and they may be more disgusting, but you are not unaware of Fang Fan's fighting power. He killed those corpses that were fraudulent within minutes. You should be clear about what happened later, young man, keep tossing and sleeping. This is a normal thing. Besides, you can't keep the young people from being together, right? Bai Biao yelled and walked forward, then said sincerely. Don't even say that what you say is true inside and outside. With Bai Biao's reminder, Fang Fan immediately understood everything. In fact, that's what happened. Although I don't know what the inside story is, but how to answer should be no problem. Fu Jing, who co-authored the vice president of the Priest Academy, wanted to catch her own pigtails. It's just that what she wants to achieve is basically impossible. Fang Fan is not that stupid. Do you need to talk too much? Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, glared at Bai Biao angrily at this moment, and the corners of her mouth twitched involuntarily while talking. Other things needless to say, this feeling followed in place virtually. Vice President Fu Jing, I'm helping you answer. Ah, this. Look at your attitude, it seems that you are not satisfied. Do you still hope that Fang Fan and the others escaped? Is that what your head teacher thinks? While Bai Biao was talking, he immediately clicked his tongue in admiration. After expressing this wave of words, Fu Jing was almost pissed off. Isn't this obviously provoking her? How dare you speak to me like that? I will expel you from the seed class. A student like you is not qualified to be a member of the seed class. Fu Jing, vice president of the Priest Academy, silently clenched her fists as she spoke. Anyway, the anger in my heart at this moment has been completely gathered. Whether he has the qualifications or not doesn't seem to be up to you, does it? Now my apprentice Fang Fan has also been found. Facts have proved that he never left the morgue, which means he did not escape training. If that's the case, don't you need to say more about the rest? Vice President Fujing, what should I do? Don't you have any idea in your heart? According to the previous bet, you are no longer the head teacher of the first year seed class. You're already out of class. So, you are not qualified to dismiss my students. Weigh it in your heart. Uncle G curled his lips, and then followed up with a full-fledged complaint. How arrogant! Turn defeat into victory. After being ridiculed to the end, who would have thought that Fang Fan would appear at this time? Too dangerous. It was almost too cold. At the same time, Tai Shiji's suspicious gaze could not help but scan Fang Fan up and down. There is something tricky here. This trick is really not small. This kid and his two female companions disappeared at the same time for so long. When they come out, they also come out together. At this moment, looking at the faces of the two female companions beside this kid, they seem to be quite rosy. Tai Shiji opened his mouth, and at this moment, countless plots filled his mind. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2676. This stuff is really scary. I don't know if I don't think about it, but when I think about it, I am startled, the whole person is dizzy, and the sound of breathing becomes inexplicably rapid. Needless to say anything else, this feeling is very real. You kid still knows how to come back. Uncle G hummed twice, and then complained angrily. Fang Fan shrugged, then glanced around, seeing corpses scattered everywhere. There should have been a very fierce battle here just now. Looking at Bai Biao's panicked appearance, one can imagine the fierce scene of the battle just now. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, thinking to himself, the smile on his face became more and more. Really interesting. Looking at the expression and posture of this cheap master Uncle G at the moment, it seems that this time he has won the vice president of the Priest Academy again. Master, you can help me get rid of this level of training in the future. It's better if I sleep. Fang Fan waved his hand, forcing Gordon to appear. Snored. You kid is not a restless temper. It will be better for you kid later. When the time comes, don't cry father and mother. Tai Shiji rolled his eyes, not knowing what the hell he was planning. But looking at this expression, it seems that the next training will be more rigorous. For the time being, the training program in the morgue is considered to be over. From the faces of many students in the first year seed class, Fang Fan could see the extreme helplessness and aggrievedness. This feeling is very real. Needless to say anything else, this feeling has become extremely strong invisibly. But these trainings are also a brand new growth. At least at this moment, these students have gradually lost their original immature faces, and gradually changed accordingly. This is a great progress. On this road of progress, we have been forging ahead, accumulating steadily and taking off in an all-round way. Although the mentality of these students has collapsed again and again at this moment, at least they will not be as frightened and disturbed as they were at the beginning when they see those hideous and terrifying corpses. It is also unlikely that it will directly follow the vomiting. This shows that they have been initially familiar with this environment. Everyone needs to have this first time. It is precisely because of this first time that there are countless success models in the future. Although Fang Fan complained about the boringness of the training program in front of Tai Shiji, he still agreed with the overall plan. Considering the big picture, the effect is obvious. Why don't you leave? What are you staying for? Uncle G glanced at Fujing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, who was standing aside, and then pouted and said, "For this woman, Tai Shiji has never had a good face." Snored. I just said that I would voluntarily resign from the position of head teacher of the first year seed class, but before the deputy palace master agrees, I will still be the head teacher of the first year seed class. Take a step back, even if I am no longer the head teacher of the first year seed class, I am still the mentor of the seed class. Why can't I stand here? Fu Jing, vice president of the Priest Academy, gritted her teeth, while speaking, her head held high and her chest raised vividly. This posture is already very good at explaining the problem. Anyway, don't be so embarrassing. What I just said, it will be recycled. This followed by a double interpretation? The deputy palace master was often involved. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2677. Hee. Today I saw a brand new you. I really missed it before. Are you playing word games with me? Word picking. Taishaji moved his hands in front of him, and then there were bursts of bone explosions. Things on the scene have always seemed very exciting. The gesture is about to do it directly. Fang Fan watched very enthusiastically from the sidelines. Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, didn't speak, and just held her head up. Anyway, she expressed her posture at the moment. Needless to say anything else for the time being, how can he be invincible when his posture is shown at this moment? Uncle G curled his lips, it's really hard to make a move at this moment. Is this going to be hammered? This is easy to say. Although Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, is indeed a bit shameless, there is really nothing wrong with people saying this, and there is no reason to talk about this and that with them, and it is indeed unreasonable. Teacher Taishu, Vice President Fu Jing, everyone wants to lead the first year seed class well, so, why bother? Stop making noise here. So many students are watching, what a joke. Don't you want to start the next training program? Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, gave a wry smile, and then talked to the muddy side. The academy didn't know what they were thinking at the beginning, and why they arranged these two evil stars together. When these two get together, they're going to fight. And it never stops. Can this be put together? After putting it together, it is pounding when it comes up. Who can stand this? In all aspects, shouldn't you be a little more secure? This is teaching students and training students. It is not for you to compete for fame and fortune here. Why bother? If the instructors are always noisy like this, what good can there be from the students? At that time, those students might be yelling after him. In this state, it is not conducive to establishing prestige in the hearts of the students. If you don't even have this bit of prestige, it's even more nonsense to talk about other things. What are you doing with those useless things? Snored. Today is just for the face of instructor Sima, otherwise this matter will never end. Taishaji raised his head arrogantly, and then said a few more words arrogantly. Fu Jing, the vice president of the Priest Academy, still didn't speak. She also knew that she was wrong at this time, and when she was wrong, keeping silent was the best way to persevere. Now you have all gone through a courage training. I also fully felt the cruelty. Some of you may feel a little uncomfortable, but I want to tell you that this is really just the beginning. This is far from the real devil training. No matter how scary the previous training was, at least your lives will not be involved. At least you are all safe. But the upcoming training will be extremely dangerous. You may even lose your life. I think you've all heard of my title of Necromancer. This title was given to me by you students. Although it doesn't sound very nice, I have to say that this title really suits me. If you can stay and train, continue training. If you really can't hold on, go back home as soon as possible. Seed classes don't need cowards. Is anyone quitting? The great Uncle G roared, and he was fed a wave of chicken soup. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2678. Although this chicken soup is not nutritious, it sounds like that. Hundreds of students in the first year seed class were whispering among themselves, each discussing what the next training plan would be. It's so mysterious, what kind of trouble is it trying to do? Don't be emotional when you hear it. Next is the main event. Uncle G deliberately coughed a few times. The next training plan is, go to the Coliseum. As long as you can win 3 games in a row on the arena, you are qualified. Winning 5 games in a row is excellent. If you can win 10 games in a row, it's perfect. At different levels, there will be different levels of rewards. Uncle G became more and more excited as he talked, as if he really hoped that all these students would be able to directly board the arena. It's not a big deal, it's about to go to the arena. For many students in the first year seed class, they still seemed a little ignorant. At this moment, each of them widened their eyes, and the expressions on their faces became more and more stunned. They have seen the battle on the arena before, so it might be cold at every turn. How many of those beast fighters who have been in the Coliseum all year round are ordinary people? It's really going to kill people at every turn. This is using my own life to create excitement. There was a lot of whispering below, and many people wanted to retreat. Teacher, can I not go to the Coliseum? I have a disease that makes me faint when I go to the Coliseum. Teacher Granduncle, I am the same way. I was injured just now when I was fighting those fake corpses. Can I survive for 2 days? Teacher Taishu, can we refuse? Teacher Taishu, I want to quit. Teacher Granduncle, I don't want to die yet. A wave of bustling shouts followed, and the things on the scene were displayed very realistically. While everyone was talking, the trembling look seemed very pure. All kinds of thoughts gather here, and the facial expressions change completely in an instant. I'm really panicking now. Taishuji's complexion turned dark when he heard this. What the hell? As a student of Guangming Academy, and one who was selected into the seed class through thousands of choices, are you so greedy for life and afraid of death? That's it? This also trains a hammer. The uncle is so angry that he doesn't hit one place. Just this group of people who don't make progress and get scared when they encounter a little danger? At that time, in the arena of the Swifu College exchange competition, wouldn't you still have diarrhea? This training is a bunch of useless wood, that's it? Can it be used? Uncle G wanted to continue to say something, but Sima Zhen, a super tutor of the God of War Academy, hurriedly stepped forward and answered. Don't worry, everyone. Mr. Granduncle didn't make it clear just now. It's up to voluntary whether you can go to the beast arena. Whoever wants to do it, we welcome you to be aggressive and adventurous. If you don't want to, we will never force it. Any one of you who wants to try the fighting atmosphere on the arena, you can come forward by yourself, and I will arrange it for you. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, hurriedly followed up. Mr. Sima, your temper is too good. If you want me to say, just make a direct mandatory arrangement. As long as they are tortured by this beast arena, 30 or 50 people will die, and their combat power can be directly increased by a wave. This beast arena is a good place to hone people. Taishuji rolled his eyes and said excitedly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2679. Needless to say anything else, this feeling became stronger invisibly. The name of the necromancer is well deserved. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, smiled helplessly. This is not the previous arrangement plan. These 100 people are almost the most elite group of people in the first year academy of Guangming Academy. According to your crazy training plan, you will lose 30 to 50 people just at the beginning. This is not to make the entire Guangming Academy follow suit. Is there no one? Dreams are beautiful, but reality must also be taken into account. Otherwise, wouldn't you just follow Liang Liang? What do you want then? Crazy ideas gathered here, and they immediately followed suit. There was no need for this at all. Cough. Teacher Taishu is just joking with you. Don't worry, the school is still very strict in training. Whoever you want to try, just tell me. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, scanned the surrounding area with his eyes, and while he was talking, there was a special kind of gleam in the depths of his eyes. Speaking like this at the moment, what should be expressed is basically expressed clearly. With a glance at the past, these students were all cowering. Who would want to go to the arena and fight those crazy beast fighters for nothing? There is no bottom in my heart. My brain is buzzing. How can this be good? To a certain extent, it is enough to be able to stabilize, and to deal with those who are missing. The mentality has long since collapsed. Anyway, hold on tight. I want to sign up. Among the crowd, a frail woman blushed and raised her hands. Good guy, this group of gentlemen are timid, but this little girl is quite motivated. Stop messing around. When you go up, you will be beaten to the ground. Calm down. When Sima Zhen saw the frail young girl, he immediately gave her a pass. This is his apprentice, how can he not know what's going on? Do Beast Arena really think it's so easy to use? Is there any difference between the qualified, excellent, and perfect evaluations for winning 3 games in a row, 5 games, and 10 games in a row? Is there any benefit? Fang Fan shrugged and asked directly. Profit comes first. Of course, Fang Fan was actually planning to play at the beginning. I learned from the steward of the Colosseum before that there are star core rewards for entering the winning streak record list, and there are rewards for entering the top 100. The higher the ranking, the richer the rewards, and these rewards can be superimposed. When you get there, you're ready to play. Of course, it would be even better if there were some rewards from the school. A reward. Cough. There are also. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, pondered for a while, as if he was thinking about the specific distribution of rewards. Before Sima Zhen continued to say something, Tai Shujia hastily announced. Those who win 3 games in a row and get a qualified evaluation will be rewarded with 10,000 credits at once. Those who win 5 games in a row and get excellent evaluations will be rewarded with 100,000 credits at once. Winning 10 games in a row and getting a perfect evaluation, the school will award 1 million credits at a time. Tai Shujia waved his hand and said very generously. Uncle Tutor. What are you doing? This reward is too heavy. A few black lines flashed on the forehead of Sima Zhen, the special tutor of the God of War Academy. If the distribution continues like this, the credits given to them by the school for the first year seed class will soon be exhausted. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2680. If you want the horse to run, you have to feed the horse. Tai Shujia shrugged and said sincerely. This principle is so clear. Fang Fan's eyes lit up. Good guy. Is this costing money? This wave of feeling is in place. If you win 10 games in a row on the arena, you will be rewarded with 1 million credits. This reward is not unreasonable. According to the normal exchange ratio, 1 credit can be exchanged for 20,000 low-grade star cores. These 1 million credits are 20 billion low-grade star cores. Fang Fan has been struggling for so long, and his net worth is only 200 billion low-grade star cores. Fang Fan silently calculated in his heart. It's not that difficult to win 10 games in a row. I registrated. Fang Fan stepped forward and said bluntly. Immediately, a gesture was made, and all 6 heroes came on stage. Galen, Vega, Daji, Caitlin, Kyle, Jax. Now they are all 4-star middle sanctuary realm. There is no big problem in terms of combat power. And because of their special physique, there are really not many in the same level who can beat them. With a bang, 7 people signed up in an instant. Tai Shuja quickly followed suit and nodded. At the critical moment, his apprentice is still reliable. Otherwise, this wave will really be slapped in the face. After Fang Fan took the lead, more and more first-year seed class students began to choose to sign up. I have to say that the reward system proposed by Tai Shuja is really too generous. This wave is really unbearable. This halazi is about to flow out. All kinds of excitement are beyond words, so there is no need to say more about other words, they are all nonsense and meaningless. People's minds are actually very simple. They didn't expect to be able to win 10 games in a row and get 1,000,000 credits. They didn't have that heart at all. The possibility was limited after all, and they still had the self-knowledge. But if you can win 3 games in a row by chance, you can also get a reward of 10,000 credits. 10,000 credits is not too little for students like them. In the end, there were 31 students who were willing to participate in the competition in the Colosseum. Of course, the vast majority of students are still timid and afraid to act rashly. If this is a little careless, the whole person may be cold directly, so naturally we must follow the stability in all aspects. All in all, it is always right to be safe. Boy Fang Fan, you are finally going out. Tisk tisk tisk, I told you a long time ago to tell you to play quickly, but you don't believe it. If you play, what else will they do? In this wave, you go directly to the field, and it is absolutely no problem to win 10 games in a row. Huh. I still have 10 billion low-grade star cores. If I win, I will double it. After 10 games, I will take off. While Bai Piao was talking, the excitement on his face was beyond words. This guy has always been pretty confident. I have always felt that I have hoped to take off. That's probably what it looks like. Needless to say the rest, this gesture is very real. This guy is now caught in those gamblers and can't extricate himself. I found a few wild games and gambled a few times before, but in the end they were all cut leaks. For someone like Bai Piao who regards money as his life, can he just let it go? Get up wherever you fall. The reason why the leaks were cut before was because the Colosseum was too dark. Someone is manipulating the gamble. He can't win at all. But now it's different, as long as Fang Fan plays, he just needs to throw Fang Fan without thinking.